Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for attending this sixth forms options evening. Hopefully you are here to find out more about our A-level and BTEC curricula for your sons and daughters who are in year 11 moving on to year 12. This is an incredibly exciting time in their life where they have the opportunity to really narrow and focus on the subjects that they want to study. And Mr. Edmonds is going to talk a little bit more about what you will find out this evening, and then you will be able to join some subject talks to find out about individual subjects. So we're really pleased that you've joined us, and hopefully you will find the information evening informative, insightful and helpful. I'll now pass you over to Mr. Edmonds. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkinson. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our sixth form options evening. Let's make sure that I'm getting everything going right. Here we go. So obviously this evening we're going to make sure that you feel comfortable in how to make your choices for year 12. We're going to show what a wonderful fit the English College is for you at year 12, and also talk about a few of the additional parts that you get by coming to the English College for your year 12 and year 13 curriculum. And then obviously we will get the opportunity to speak to some subject specialists. So while we are, for this evening, obviously it's all about now narrowing down your subject choices, really starting to get an idea of what you want to do later on. It's still okay if you don't know the answer to that question, but obviously you're now taking a set of subjects where you had maybe 8 to 10 subjects, and now you're narrowing them down to 3 or 4. So we want to make sure that we can guide you as best as possible throughout that whole process. And obviously this team in front of you here, this beautiful bunch, are our secondary leadership team, as I know you're aware of most of the people here on the screen right now. Myself, I'm in charge of all of Key Stage 5. So anything to do with the options choices, to do with the curriculum that goes on in Key Stage 5 is my baby, so to speak. So I know that, I still don't think it's getting a little bit old. We have our lovely facilities that we are now fully making home. And I think for sixth formers in particular, this is where you really start to get the use of the new builds. The top floor, which I know a lot of you have been up to, has a number of sixth form only areas on it. We have our lovely common room, which has a view of the Burj Khalifa. I don't think many people can say that about their common room. We also have 2 terrace areas on the other side, which you can see the tip of the Burj Al Arab. So, you know, that's another wonderful view. And again, it's just a really lovely area in which to say you've been to attended sixth form at. As well as that, with the fact that you guys have a little bit less subjects, we also give you a little bit more independence in terms of how you can use some of your study time, and also getting the use of some of these world-class facilities, such as the gym, and getting a little bit of sport inside you as well. So all of these things are what are available to you as a sixth form student. Now, something that we're also unbelievably proud of is our results. And this year's A-level results were absolutely outstanding. As you can see, we had 32% of our A-level grades were at an A-star level. Now, I know we had tag processes and all of those things in place, but I also was very much a part of the process to check all those grades and go through the rigorous process. And I know how hard all the students work to achieve these wonderful grades. And to sort of just emphasize that more, a quarter of our year 13 students achieved straight A's or A stars, which is just unbelievable. Now, added to that, I'm very proud of the fact that we are a non-selective school. And obviously we look at our value added and we see where our students started and what they should achieve, and then actually what they do achieve. And what we had was actually 70% of our A-level subjects and students went above what we thought their grade was going to be, their target grade. And so that's outstanding progress shown there. So I'm just highlighting to you there that you're in very, very capable hands by coming to the English College for sixth form. I'm going to pass you over to the lovely Miss Murphy now, who is going to talk through making informed choices for your Year 12 subjects. Miss Murphy.
Thank you. So I have two things to talk to you about today. The first is getting into sixth form and how we pick those option choices, because as Mr. Edmonds said, up till now, a lot of your curriculum's been dictated to you. You were able to pick some of your GCSE subjects, but now you have complete control over what you are picking. And some students love that. Some students are a little bit stressed by that because they want to make sure they are picking the right subjects for them. And it is a very big decision. So we are here to help you with that. Now, generally, students fall into two categories. We have students who have a particular career path in mind. So maybe they have known from year 8 that they want to be a doctor. Now, to go into these professions, you need certain A levels, because to get onto the degree courses, depending on the country you want to go to, generally chemistry and biology are needed at A level. Now, I'm saying depending on the country you want to go to, because we do have students go all over the world and it does vary system by system. So if you are set that you want to study medicine in the UK, as an example, there are particular subjects that you are going to need to study at A level. Now, from a university point of view, that is not negotiable for certain subjects like medicine, dentistry, engineering. So it is important that you are aware of that now. If you are not sure if a certain career path that you are looking at needs particular subjects, all of that information is available on UniFrog, which everybody has a login for, and you can also come speak to me to check and talk it through. So that's one type of student, and that will dictate the choices that you are making. The second type of student doesn't have any idea at all what they want to do, and that is absolutely okay. I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of the parents in this call and say that when you were 16, you weren't 100% set on what you wanted to do, and it's probably what you have ended up doing is very different to maybe what you thought you would do. So if you are not set on a certain career, look at the subjects that you are successful in. We are aiming a lot of the time to get the best grades possible for you to get into university or onto apprenticeships, into the world of work, different routes that are suitable for you. So what are you going to succeed in? And with that, what do you enjoy? We tend to do better at the subjects that we enjoy. Finally, what transferable skills can you develop? I know as a drama teacher, a lot of my students don't go into acting, but the skills they develop can set them up for law degrees, as an example. So what transferable skills are there? These are some of the things to think about when you are making your choices. And like I said, if you want to come speak it over with me, please do. Now, I've spoken about making your choices and getting you into sixth form. Now I'm going to talk about getting you out of sixth form, because that is my goal, to get you on the right path. And I'm incredibly proud of the provision we give at the English College. We have 87% of our students last year went directly into higher education. Now that is a little bit lower than our general average, because some students did opt for a gap year due to universities offering online provision. However, I am not about forcing students onto particular paths. We are about nurturing each individual student's passion and the route that they want to go down and supporting them on that journey. So we had 10 students last year who opted to take a gap year, like I mentioned, or enter the world of work. And 39% of our UK applicants did get an offer from a Russell Group university and are attending those universities now, which again, we are incredibly proud of. But I want to reiterate that we are here to support your individual journey. And on the next slide, you can just see some of the many places last year's cohort have gone to. So what support is in place for you at the English College to help you on this journey? I am available for drop-ins regularly. We have set periods in the timetable where students can come and see me. We have a very experienced tutor team, and also our pastoral program is developed to support you on your journey to leaving us. UniFrog is such an amazing tool. The kids think I am obsessed with UniFrog, and I am, because it just has so much accurate information, which when you Google something, we don't know how reliable things can be. So it is a one-stop shop to help support students making decisions. We have one-to-one student and parent meetings, university visits, HE days, mock interviews, all these exciting things to support you on your journey in sixth form. We also have, I'm not going to tread on his toes too much, but we also have the diploma, which is an absolutely amazing initiative in preparing students for higher education or the world of work. So to summarise, if you've got any questions, please come and speak to me, tap into the support that's available, and I will pass you back to Mr. Edmonds now.
Thank you, Miss Murphy. So yeah, just before we get into the actual options side of things, I want to take just a little bit of time to talk through something that I'm particularly proud of that we've been working on at the English College. Now, all of you that attend EC or hoping to attend EC know what a special place it is. And one of the most special things about our community is the fact that we have so many different skills and attributes. We have so many things that our students do, and it's not just about our grades. And what we've tried to build is the diploma at the English College, particularly for our sixth form students. At the end of year 13, we have a graduation ceremony, and everyone gets dressed up in gowns and we celebrate their time at the English College. But also as part of that, it is going to be our diploma graduation ceremony. So what we tried to do was we tried to make sure that our students, our wonderful people that we have, are showing off the extra parts that complement their academics. When you look at it, I love this quote: prepare children for the tests of life and not a life of tests. And that is something that is integral to everything we're doing in the sixth form. I don't want people to just be good at getting test grades. And we're trying to build some of these skills for the future. The World Economic Forum actually listed a number of top skills that they'd expect for 2020 and beyond of their future employees. And this list here has some really, really key integral skills that we're really trying to nurture at the English College. In particular, I've emphasized emotional intelligence, so how well that we can react and respond to people, and how well we can understand what people are feeling in order to be able to help. And also cognitive flexibility, which we've already shown a huge amount of over the last few years with COVID, and that's how we can adapt to different situations. Now, what we're aiming to do with you, the student, or your child, if you're a parent, is we want to produce future-proof students. We want to have those students who are ready for those jobs of tomorrow that we don't even know about. We want to nurture global citizens. We want our citizens, we want our students to go out into the world and make a difference. And also we want to strengthen that college community and make our students competitive with the wider with all the other students that they're obviously going to be against to get their university places or jobs. And so the diploma is working on building those skills, going outside the curriculum. So in particular, all of these things were key skills that we felt were really important to try to nurture within our students. I'm not going to read them all out loud, but things like we've got so many students who are fluent in different languages, active, public speaker, just to name a few. And we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities for our students to be able to showcase those things. And this is what we've developed. We've developed our diploma. Our diploma is a list of different domains. You can see there, they've all got a different title. And the plan is that throughout their time at the sixth form, students are working towards these different domains. They're trying to get, let's pick the entrepreneur. They're trying to get that skill. They're trying to showcase that they can do that outside the curriculum. And also, obviously, that's going to make sure that when they come to write their university references in year 13, they don't just have their academics to talk about. They have all these other domains to talk about also. And the diploma is actually a multi-tiered qualification, because what we get is each student will be working towards the certificate. No matter what happens, when they come into EC, the curriculum is set up, the pastoral time is set up, that they will all be achieving a certificate through various tasks that we have. Then we will be putting emphasis on their extra time that they have, their supervised study time, to start to work to the other domains of the diploma. And the highest award is the diploma with honours, which they would be awarded at the end of their time when they graduate in year 13. And that's not an easy thing to get. So I will obviously keep talking about this more and more and more, but you can see there's an idea of the different things that the students will need to do over their years at the English College in order to gain their diploma. So I'll keep talking about this. This is not the first time you're going to hear about it, and there'll be plenty more information about it, but I do want to really emphasize it as such an important part of our sixth form provision for our students. So the options process as we stand now is we've had time in tutor time. We've had a launch assembly last term to look at the options and where we go. Today, students had 4 taster sessions. And obviously, we've got our options evening where you're going to have an opportunity to chat to some of the subjects today. Now, from that, I'm going to then show you the options blocks this evening. And students would then have to start to select their choices. And we would have our options in by the 9th of February initially. Now, obviously, as well, there's lots of things here dependent upon them getting into different courses. Maybe it's grades. And so mock results and reports are all going to help with that. And we are going to guide our students. We're going to help them to understand what curriculum is best for them and to understand what subjects may suit them better. So at EC, we offer 3 pathways. We have an A-level only pathway, and the majority of students historically have done a 3 A-level pathway. 3 A-levels is what the universities are looking for. Don't think that you need to get more and more A-levels. It's the 3 A-levels and how well you do in those A-levels. We do offer 4 A-levels to those students who at GCSE have gained the majority of grade 7s and above in their GCSE grades. But as I said, it's not a compulsory thing that you need to do 4 A-levels. And I'd very much advise taking 3 and doing them very well. There are some students who might want to take a blended pathway. That's where we have our BTEC provision, and BTEC curriculum is very much more coursework based, and it suits some of our learners far better to work through different modules in business and travel and tourism, and they gain the equivalent of A-levels in these courses. And you may decide that you want to take 1 BTEC and 2 A-levels, or you may decide to take 2 BTECs and 1 A-level. These are all available, and we do have entrance requirements for each one of those different subjects. With regards to the entrance requirements, the majority of subjects are a grade 6 or a B grade at GCSE or IGCSE. For mathematics and the sciences, it is a grade 7 at GCSE. So for those people who are doing triple science, that would be just a 7 in that science, Or if you, for the majority of you who are doing combined science, we'd be looking at a 7-7 in your combined science subject. So the courses that we offer, we have a large list of courses there. And obviously the options booklet, the link to that was there earlier on in the presentation. And again, I'll send that out to you so that you can again look at all the different subjects we offer. The ones that are highlighted, I've highlighted them for the purpose that they are a 2-year course only. So some subjects, well, the ones that are not highlighted, they have an AS option. So at the end of year 12, you could technically just finish at AS. But for all those ones that are highlighted, it is compulsory that they're a 2-year course. So once you start that course, you have to see it all the way through to the end of year 13. The additional subjects that we offer as part of our curriculum, again, another sort of part that I'm very proud of is actually the students will have 5 lessons in every subject that they pick. That obviously leaves a large number of study lessons that we have on top of our timetable. Now, there is a lot of work and a lot of studying involved in A-levels and BTECs, but we also have as well some compulsory subjects that we have from being in the UAE. So moral education is done as part of pastoral time on a Friday morning, and that will continue to the end of year 13. For our Muslim students, again, they will also continue with Islamic to the end of year 13, and that's 2 lessons a week. For Arabic passport holders, again, there is a compulsory Arabic course that must be followed, but I must also stress that some students can opt to do AS and A-level Arabic on top of the ministry. You cannot choose it instead of. But again, it's another way of having more qualifications. The extra parts that are not compulsory, we do offer the extended project qualification. Year 11 students, I will be sending out lots of information about this over the coming weeks so that you can get a little bit more info, but we start that in the January of year 12. So you've got lots of time to think about that one and whether you want to take part in that qualification. We have, to keep ourselves active, we have a PE lesson. And we also have a Skills for Life program, which is run by our counsellor, Miss Ashcroft, which also supports and guides our students, getting them ready for life after EC. So currently, these are our option blocks. Now, what's going to happen is this evening, I am going to send out an email with this Google form. Don't worry and panic and think you need to write down this email address. And on there, it will have the option blocks. Now, as I said, we have majority of students will pick 3 choices, which means you'll leave 1 block blank. There may be some clashes in the options, and if there are, you need to make sure that you fill that out in the Google form. I do whatever I can to try and accommodate as many of our students as possible. Currently, right now, these option blocks are our best fit for all the data and the work that I've gone through with the year 11 so far, but then will still be some clashes and some things that maybe need to be changed slightly. So fill that into the form and you will have until Wednesday, the 9th of February to fill that in. Of course, you may change your mind in that time. And again, we can still look at that and we can still try to accommodate that wherever possible. Sorry, I must also just mention, if you're a student who's not at the English College, Cheryl will send out a form for you to fill in so that you can also select your options. So we are on to the kind of subject specialist parts. I know that they are starting very soon over the next couple of minutes. And what I did in the letter that I sent out to you on the 3rd page was all the links to all the different subjects. I am going to hang around here and I will answer any questions that you may have that may just be about curriculum based. And if that's the case, please type them into the chat so that I can have a go at answering any of those. But if you are happy with all the information that you have so far and you have no more questions, then I do encourage you to go to the different links and start to see the different subjects. The only note that I must make is that we do not have a law meet tonight. So if you have any questions specifically to law, please can you type them into the chat and I will forward them on to the law department. Okay, so if you have any questions, please type them in. But if not, please go off to the other Google Meets. Thank you. No questions at all. Miss Hopkinson, you can read any out if there are any, but they're all fed up with my voice, so we're all good.
One has just come in. Does Islamic count as an A level, or is it just a subject that you have to do?
It's just a compulsory subject that must be done through by living in the UAE. And actually, if you are planning to study in the UAE, you do have to have completed up until the end of year 13 Islamic in order to be able to go into university there.
There is one that says 4 blocks are many. I'm not quite sure what that means, but there are 4 blocks, and from those 4 blocks you choose 3 subjects, yeah?
Correct.
Sorry, oh, so okay. 4 blocks are mentioned. Can 3 subjects be selected? Yes, so you would choose 3 from the 4. You'll notice some subjects appear in more than 1 block just to make many combinations possible. Another question, what is the process for taking 3 A levels and 1 AS level?
So they would select 4 options, and then at the end of year 12, they would have a conversation with me about the subject that they want to take off their timetable.
Okay, but it's fair to say that not all subjects are actually available at AS level. Some are 2-year courses from the beginning.
Correct.
So students need to be careful.
Yeah.
So will we have assessments for Arabic? So I actually work very closely with the Arabic team, so maybe it's best for me to answer that one. If you are have an Arabic passport, then you will have to do Arabic. It's your choice whether you study just the ministry curriculum, or whether you do AS, or whether you do A level as well. And obviously, depending on the qualification that you do, that will determine what assessments you do. But yes, the Ministry of Education in the UAE do expect us to report to them grades, so you will still be assessed just like you are right now. Another question, what if my son wants to choose 2 subjects from the same block?
So they need to put that into the Google form, and then if that, what I'll look for is the clashes, and if I can try to move things around, I will do my very best to try and do that.
Okay, please clarify what would be a good combination if my child wants to take business as a future career.
So I think the best thing to do there would actually be to book in with Miss Murphy so that she can then walk you through, and that can happen with just your child, or that can happen with, oh, Miss Murphy's there. Do you want to talk, Miss Murphy? Go for it.
I'm here. So for business, there's not actually any specific requirements. Obviously, business at A level gives you a lot of skills to go in to study that subject later on. But if you did maths, if you did English, they will consider a wide range for business. So business or economics obviously does feed into it, but is not essential. It is looking at good grades.
Another one is, I'm confused about the 2 Arabic subjects. Can you clarify? So there are no 2 Arabic subjects. There's 1 Arabic subject. All students will follow the Ministry of Education curriculum. If students want to study AS level, or they want to study A level, they will be prepared for those qualifications within their Arabic lessons. So the vast majority of our students will just follow the normal Ministry of Education curriculum. 1 or 2 may decide to do AS or A level. Would taking 4 A levels over the 2 years limit the amount of supervised free periods?
So we have, you'll have 5 lessons for every subject that you choose. So obviously, if you choose 4 subjects, you have less study periods. As part of the English College, we also have certain number of lessons that are supervised study periods with a member of staff who's also in the room with them. So if you have 4 A levels, then there's a very small number of supervised study lessons.
BTEC business was not highlighted. Does it mean it's only an AS level?
Very good question. Actually, I suppose that does bring up my PowerPoint a little bit. So yeah, with BTEC business, it is a course for 2 years. There is an option to stop at the end of the first year. The 2-year course is worth a whole A level, but the 1-year course doesn't equate to half an A level. It's actually slightly less. So we do advise that students follow the whole BTEC course of 2 years.
If my child picks a subject and wants to change, how long do they have to change it?
If Sungi is saying that she wants to drop biology, that's not going to happen. But also, you will have, well, you will choose your options. And I do understand that some students may choose to take a different option based on their GCSE results. The only way that that would not be able to happen is if that course was full. So for example, if we take media or economics, which is looking quite popular, if you've not chosen that subject, but then decide to choose it later, you may not be able to choose that subject because it is full. We also have a very short window at the start of year 12 in order for you to drop a subject.
This is a wonderful question and very topical. If my child is only going to take kind of year 12 only, is it okay to study in the UAE at universities with Arabic and Islamic compulsory year 12 course only?
So this is a great question, and actually something that has changed very, very recently. We did in the past have students who stopped at the end of year 12 and were able to go to UAE universities. The UAE has recently informed us that it will be far more difficult, if not impossible, to go to university and finish at the end of year 12, because they're looking for you to have completed your Arabic to the end of year 13 and your Islamic to the end of year 13. Is that correct, Miss Murphy? Have I got anything wrong there?
Yeah, no, that's correct. The only place where we have a bit of a grey area is there are lots of universities from lots of different educational systems across the world who have campuses here. So I think, again, book an appointment with me, come see me, and we can go through your specific situation.
Straight to Miss Murphy, probably. Do medicine schools in the UAE require both biology and chemistry A-level?
Same response for that a little bit. So generally, yes, both are needed. However, because we do have a range of education systems, it can vary between them. So give me an email, come see me, and we'll look at where you are considering.
So there's a follow-up question to the BTEC earlier. So 1 year BTEC is not considered as an AS level? Correct.
It's not got the, we look at it from a UCAS points in the UK in particular, and the number of points that you get for a 1 year BTEC is not the same as an AS level.
Do architect majors in the USA require art and design?
Miss Murphy.
So that will vary on university to university, and because the US is so big, they do have different requirements. So same again, come see me and we will go through what you are considering. Generally in the US though, they're not as firm on the exact subjects that you need at A level, because you try out lots of different things in your first year on your degree, and then you start to specialise a little bit further on.
This is an interesting question, and perhaps is just broader than further maths. The question is how many students are required so further maths can be offered, but I suppose the same question applies to other subjects that usually have small cohorts, music, French, etc.
Of course, so we'll always try to ensure that courses are running, but we do have to look at our whole curriculum provision to see, let's say if we take maths as the example, if maths suddenly has a massive oversubscription and we have a very small number in further maths, then we have to look at how the curriculum works. But what we would try to do is we're looking at for at least 5 to 7 students is where we try to find that. And then from there, we will then see that we can get the course running. We're always trying to get them to run rather than not have them run, that's for sure.
I'm just going to jump over the next question because it's on a similar level. Is there a maximum class size?
Our maximum class size is around 22 students, and it is very rare for us to get to that number. We on average have around, I'd say 14 to 15 students in each class that we have at A level. Of course, 1 or 2 are more popular and they do start to push towards that, but we have a maximum.
And is there a minimum grade for a GCSE subject to be able to study that subject at A level?
Yes, so a grade 6 in that subject to go into it at A level. It makes sense that if you're going to that subject, that you have at least a 6 level to go into it.
But for some subjects, there are differences. For example, maths, biology, chemistry, physics, etc.
Correct.
So what's the purpose of A levels? Is it compulsory for universities, or does it just add on to GCSE grades, or what's the purpose of A levels?
Oh, big question here. Miss Murphy, do you want to go with that one?
Yeah, so we are a British curriculum school, and in the British education system, students do their GCSEs generally up to 16, and it's compulsory for them to be in some form of education until the age of 18. Now, that is when a lot of students choose to do their A levels, BTECs, or maybe an apprenticeship within the UK context. Now, for us, if we're looking at sending students to a UK university, they do need A levels or BTECs to get onto a course. When we look around the world then, the A levels are still required, but what they match up to in different education systems varies. So they are needed to get into universities. Some education systems do accept AS levels because the year 13 is actually the same difficulty as the first year of uni in some systems. So they are needed to get in, but that's why there can be a bit of crossover and why it can get confusing when some people say, I can get in with AS levels. But they are not an add-on, they are not the frilly bit, they are kind of the core grades that we need to be getting to go to university.
There are more questions about business and BTEC, and we will address them, but there is actually a subject presentation happening right now from the business and econs and BTEC team that will answer all these questions, the subject specialists. So as you can see on the screen right now, Mr. Edmonds has said that 2 presentations have already started. So I would strongly suggest you to leave this one and actually go to those subjects and ask them those specific questions. But just a few that we'll try and get through quite quickly. Are econs and business offered in the same block?
No.
So you can do them both if you wish, or one of the other. BTEC single and double, what's the difference exactly? Which one is recommended if someone decides business studies to continue in the future? Is BTEC acceptable in universities, UK or UAE?
So very quickly on the BTEC one, and I think the subject would be the best place to go for that. But you can do BTEC as a single award, which is worth 1 A level. You can also do more BTEC business, which is a double award, which is 10 lessons and worth 2 A levels. And then obviously there's BTEC travel and tourism again, which is worth 1 A level. So you could go completely BTEC route, come out with 2 A level equivalents in business and 1 A level equivalent in travel and tourism. And the subject specialists are best to answer that question. Miss Murphy, do you want to just say about where it's accepted?
Yeah, so BTEC is widely recognised across the world. Within the UK, it is recognised by all universities. In the UAE, the majority of universities. So if you've got any queries about specific ones, do come see me. But it is widely accepted. And in terms of whether it's better to do single or double, there's no right or wrong answer to that. It purely depends on the passion of the student and kind of where they're working at.
I have put my email address into the chat. If you have any specific questions that you want to ask, and also I'll put Miss Murphy's into there as well, because I know that obviously some of these are university-based questions. But thank you so much. I think we've done on the questions, Miss Hopkins. Yep. Lovely. Look, thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoy your subject-specific meets. Have a nice evening.